Hello again. Welcome to another episode with Dustin and Rashida.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about 5 tips for a healthy relationship. And number 5 is going to shock you. Okay? Welcome to our channel again. Let's get started. So we have a pretty healthy relationship.
Yeah, I would say so.
And you know, we want to share that with others because honestly, there is nothing more fulfilling or better than having a relationship that is healthy with your spouse.
Yeah.
And happy.
Yeah.
And you know what? We want that for you guys too.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, we're going to give the 5 tips for it. First, learn.
Learn. Mm-hmm.
We need to learn about our spouse. We need to learn what makes them happy, what makes them anxious. We actually need to learn everything about them.
Yeah, we have to utilize that art of getting to know one another, learning what your spouse or your partner likes, what ticks them off, what makes them happy, the little things that bother them, the little things that cause anxiety, the little things that makes them smile. You have to get to know the person that you're trying to share a life with. But for these days, we can't, I don't know why, the art of getting to know one another, even at work. Even I tell my son, when you go to your class, be a people watcher, not in a bad way, but getting to know your teachers, your friends, what kind of people they are. But just don't say, hi, oh, we like the same music. Relationships these days are like that. We like the same music. The art of getting to know one another is kind of, I think, lost these days.
Yeah, well, the thing I think that's so important
Mm-hmm.
and that you actually taught me
Mm-hmm.
is when you love me,
Mm-hmm.
learn about me.
Yeah.
What do I like to eat?
Yeah.
When I request that you get me something to drink,
Mm-hmm.
please undo the lid, right? Okay.
Who tells you that? Who says that?
Yeah, you. But you
Yeah.
do the same for me.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to share with people out there is please learn
Yeah.
what your spouse needs,
Yeah.
what drives them, because that symbiotic relationship that feeds itself, it circulates.
Yeah.
And when you learn about your spouse
Yeah.
and they learn about you, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And your partners, you have to know if for example, your something catches a fire in your house, you have to know how to put out that fire. If
Yeah.
you don't know how to help your spouse or your partner or who you live with, if you don't know how to help them when they're hurting or in pain, or how to laugh with them when they're happy, how can you lead a happy or harmonious life? You don't even know. It's like let's face it, people are like devices. You have to know how your computer works. How your phone works. These artificial intelligence are mimicking us. You have to know how to work your computer. If you don't know how your partner works, how can you even communicate or even try to have something meaningful going?
Amazing point.
Yes,
And what I know, you are, as always, of course. That's why we're here. Woohoo, look at me. Yes. But you make a key point there because most people go into it wanting the partner to learn about them.
Yes.
Wanting the partner to fulfill their needs.
Yes.
Okay, but it's like a device, kind of. If you went to the phone or the computer and wanted the computer to learn about you, how does that work? Is that going to work very good?
No, it's not going to.
Are you going to be frustrated?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we do it to a computer.
Yeah.
But we don't do it to the person we love the most.
But if you know how your computer works, then the computer gives you what you want.
And see, she knows what's up. She so knows what's up.
Yeah.
And that is
not to manipulate any situation, but you have to learn about your partner.
Well, and let's say something though.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I think is very nasty is everybody so wants to avoid manipulating or like showing that they're so self-giving in a relationship. Okay? A relationship does have a lot to do with you benefiting. Okay, but you have to realize for that to work, you have to love the person and give them what they need. Yeah. So it comes back to you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And
a miserable person cannot make you happy.
No.
Yeah. And so you have to ensure the happiness of everybody involved in order for you to be happy.
So the key of learning, our first tip here, what do we have to learn about first?
Tell me. Oh, master.
Stop. You call me Yoda again. Oh, very good indeed.
Coming back to the point.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. What we have to learn about first is ourselves.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely. Yeah. Mhm.
relationships.
I was gonna leave that for our next video, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we'll get
absolutely.
further
Yeah.
into it later, but
Uh-huh.
we have to learn about ourselves.
Yes.
You know,
Before you learn other people's.
yeah, because when you learn
Situations,
about
yeah.
yourself and you see that learning what you like and fulfilling that and not having guilt over those things and conquering it,
Yeah.
you kind of get self-fulfillment. Then you realize how you can do the same for your spouse.
Or even knowing your capabilities.
Yes.
I know certain things that I cannot handle. Knowing that helped me find
Like germs?
knowing that helped me find somebody who is compatible with me, because there are certain things or certain characteristics or shortcomings. We all have shortcomings. There are certain shortcomings that I cannot handle. I'm not capable. Simply, it would make me miserable. So knowing that about me helped me find somebody whose shortcomings I can complement or, work with.
And there's a lot of shortcomings here, let me tell you.
Not a lot. He's awesome. Not a lot.
You know, and now we are going to go on to the second tip.
Okay.
Because how do we learn about
do
our
we
partner?
Yeah.
About our partner. How do we do it?
How do we do it? Tell me. Listen.
How do we do it?
Aha.
We listen.
Yes. Hey, not only listen, but just active
I'm listening here.
Active listening. I talked to our son the other day, and I'm telling him, hey, clean your room, do this, do that. And then I said to him, I smiled, and I said, are you listening? And he said, nope. I lost you 5 minutes ago. But that's the thing, active listening, being attentive, really being interested in getting to know the person. You just cannot say, yeah, I'm listening. You gotta really be into the conversation.
And realizing that when you listen, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
But realizing when you listen, I was kind of, but I had something to say. Yes, you know me. But when you listen and really listen, you're getting a gift from your spouse.
Yeah.
Your spouse is telling you who they are. You know?
Yeah.
Which is learning about them.
Yes.
And that's why it's important as spouses also you don't have to necessarily be a big communicator to give the message of what you want your spouse to hear.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But now that you mentioned being a big communicator, you have to be an effective communicator. You have to really open up too.
Yes.
If you're not being vulnerable and like emotionally naked with your partner, how are they supposed to listen or even know what are you talking about? You gotta be honest and say, hey, when I met him, I told him that I had OCD. But yeah, so you have to be upfront and honest with one another, because if your whole goal is to be happy and you're hiding your shortcomings from your spouse, how are they supposed to complement those? It's like you will catch them by surprise one day. For example, I knew he gets things can overwhelm him. He gets anxious, and anxiety is a big thing with him. So if he hid that from me, and one day if we were driving somewhere and he got that, I'm like, oh my God, is he having a heart attack? But I knew it happened to us one day, and we were in the middle of the road, and it was extremely chaotic and big city. But I had to, because I knew what he was going through, I had to say, oh, honey, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Let's go. So you have to be honest with your shortcomings. But the other partner also has to not use that to their advantage. They have to use it to the advantage of reaching a happy place. I mean,
that unification of the relationship that creates that symbiotic relationship that gives and then gets back, and then gives and then gets back. When people listen to use it as a weapon, that's not a relationship. And if that's
you're in a battle, and it's not a good relationship. No. You need to know when to exit. Have your exit back. If your partner is listening, to have that to use your shortcomings against you. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a house divided will not stand.
Absolutely.
And that is where listening and communicating honestly with your partner is very important.
Yeah.
But first, you can only control the listening.
Absolutely.
So many times we listen to the commentary in our head. We listen to what we forgot to do or what our mind's telling us to focus on instead of listening to our spouse. And that is so detrimental to the relationship.
Yeah.
To allow your mind, when you're with the most important person in the world, to allow your mind to wander.
Mm-hmm.
When they're giving you a piece of them, when they're helping you learn who they are, and you don't listen, and you allow yourself to be somewhere else, it's very detrimental.
Absolutely. If the relationship matters to you, if you really want to be in that relationship, if your mind wanders, I mean, it happens, right?
We are human, yeah.
Bring it back. I sometimes, when I'm talking to him, I notice that he's, doing busy with other stuff in his head. So I'm like, are you listening to me, or should I come back 5 minutes later? He's like, yeah, I'm listening. But if the relationship matters to you, make sure that you listen. If it doesn't matter to you to that extent that you cannot even bother yourself to listen, you have to pre-examine.
And one thing that's very crucial about these are tips for you to have a happy relationship, not tips to beat somebody over the head with that you didn't listen to me. If you notice what Rashida just said, she said, I'm anxious, okay? And there's times when my anxiety causes my brain to go different places. When school and my furlough, not being at work, and where's the bills gonna be paid, and when all these things come out, and she's talking to me, and my brain goes somewhere else, she has learned who I am.
Yeah.
And she doesn't use it to beat me up. She uses it to say, honey, this is important.
Yeah.
And I'll come back when you're with me.
Yeah.
She's not snotty about it. She doesn't beat me over the head with it. She doesn't feel rejected by it.
No.
Because she's learned who I am.
Yeah.
And she's learned that I love her. And she's learned that I have shortcomings.
Yeah. And you were open to me. Opening to your spouse really saves a lot of headache and heartache. Yeah. We were watching a show the other day about a couple. It was a reality show. And what was it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you're going. I'm excited to hear this too.
Yeah. So
we were watching a show.
So Arranged was the show.
Oh, okay.
So one of the couples, one of the wives was she thought that she could not have kids. Okay, but she did not disclose that to her husband before they got married. And then later on, after the marriage, she came to him crying, and she's like, I know you love kids, you want to have children, but there's a big chance that I might not have kids ever, because doctors have told me that before. That is a big blow. And then she wanted him, because she was crying, to come and say, oh my God, I'm so, but the thing was, she just gave him something too huge to handle, and the guy kind of got mad and said, you should have told me this before. I didn't know that. I mean, and then later on, after 10 minutes, he came and hugged her and kissed her. But it was understandable that it was too overwhelming for him, because she knew how important kids were to him. Why wouldn't she open up to him when they were dating?
Which comes to our third tip.
Yes.
Love sincerely.
Absolutely. Yep.
You have to love sincerely. You have to know that person that you've chose. And we're going to do a video on how to choose the right partner or spouse at some point in time. But right now, when you have chosen that right one,
when
you love that person, and you know that they have your best interest and you have their best interest, you have to be sincere.
You have to be sincere.
That was a perfect example of the way she wasn't sincere.
No.
That is a vital part to share. The person who you love more than anybody in the world needs to know, if you're sick, if you're sad, if what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that is how we were talking about earlier, being loving sincerely and loving fairly. The way she was coming about being in love was kind of selfish kind of love. It wasn't fair love. If she loved him like she loved herself, if she cared about her happiness, cared about his happiness like she cared about her happiness, she would have said, you know, there's a huge chance that I might not have children. But she was caring about her own happiness, and she was saying to herself, by any means necessary, I'm gonna marry him because I love him. I have to have him because he will make me happy. But she really didn't think about what will make him happy.
Yeah. And what the repercussions could be.
Absolutely. That love was not fair, and it was not sincere. It was selfish love.
And to be honest, I don't think there's any greater gift. I could be wrong here, but I don't believe there's any greater gift, and you have given it to me, and you give it to me continuously, and I attempt to too. You're better at it than me, but
you do good.
But sincere love, telling someone where you're at, telling them what you need, telling them where you came from, where you want to be going. There is no greater gift and vital gift to give to your significant other than that gift of sincere love. Yeah,
because you're giving them a fair chance to see whether or not they will be able to go where you're going. If I'm not able to have children, and I know Dustin wants to have children, then I'm not really aiding him to reach his goal of happiness, because that will make you happy. So then I am actually, what do you call, like a roadblock for your happiness, because I'm trying to be happy for me. I'm not really trying to get you to reach where your happiness is.
Yes, and what people need to realize is long term, you might feel like you can't live without that person in the emotional moment. But if you sincerely can't live without that person, you will issues. Give them, well, that too. You do have issues.
Should be able to
and
live
that's
with.
That's not a ground to get with somebody.
No.
Emotional driven relationships rarely end well.
Yeah. You have to be, first and foremost, you got to be extremely emotionally stable to reach any happiness when it comes to relationships.
And and that leads us to what I think, second to sincerity, I think the most important thing is laughing. People take life way too serious, and they definitely take relationships way too serious. You have to laugh.
You have to laugh. You have to laugh together.
I'm going to put a link to a book called Laugh Your Way to Happiness. The author talks about how evidence shows you can feel better and live a healthier life, even if laughter's forced.
Even it's fake.
If you force yourself to laugh, it's better. And, oh, go ahead.
No, the chemical endorphins would be produced even if if the laughter is fake.
Yeah. And in that,
and then it puts you in a good mood.
Yeah. And in that, life is two things. Life is a tragedy, or life is a comedy.
Absolutely. A big tragedy or a comedy.
And tragedy will end tragically.
Yeah.
Wallowing in that despair is very damaging to your overall mental and even physical well-being. But being able to laugh together and love together and look at things in the context of how they really are.
Life is, at the end of the day, we will. Can you complete that sentence? We will.
We're gonna be eaten by worms, right?
What's there to be serious about? Really, what's there to be serious about? You gotta cherish and value the moments that you have with your loved ones and be happy. I know people who thought that they would be forever young. I know relatives of mine who I remember when they were like in their 20s or 30s and they were married and they used to fight with their spouses and they were unhappy about trivial stuff. And now I know they're like in their 60s and some of them are dead. But at the end of the day, what was that all about?
Yeah.
Why? We have an extremely short period of time to be here, even if you're 100 years old. My grandmother died at the age of 83. Okay.
Yeah.
When she died, it was like she was still like when I first met her and she was 40, because my mom had me really young.
Right.
And I couldn't see even the changing body and everything. I still saw that beautiful 40-year-old loving grandmother but she was 83. Where did time go? So why waste time with being angry about trivial stuff and with being unhappy? And if your spouse is really caught, because there are relationships that are not repairable.
Yes.
But if you can help it, laugh. Anytime that I have one of my
OCD episodes is what she's trying to say.
Seriously, I just sometimes, when everything comes off like uncontrollable and too much, I just go to my bedroom and just watch something funny, something stupid, something just mindless, like sitcom or something. And then I sit there, and then it kind of helps me and chills me out a little bit, and then I can see things clearly when I come out.
Laughing is so therapeutic.
Yeah.
It really is. And like Rashida said, in the whole context of things, what is really that serious? When we operate out of fear and then, oh, it's so horrible, nothing can change. That's not true. We know from life that life has not gone the way we planned.
Nobody's life
Things
has gone.
change. Tragedies happen.
Absolutely.
And we survive.
Part of life. If it doesn't kill you, you survive. And then
if it does, you don't know any better anyways,
exactly.
right?
When your day comes, your day comes.
Yeah.
But while you're here, just try and see the comedy. And do you want to tell Elias when he didn't get the mark the other day?
Well, we kind of got a perfect example. Please don't judge us. But
we're good parents.
Yeah, we are, really. You met him. He's an awesome kid. Our son holds very high expectations of himself and is extremely intelligent, extremely takes after his mom, of course. But
sometimes you call him what? What do you call him? An old soul grandma?
Yeah. No, he's totally an old soul. I mean, he's 16 going on 45. Okay, mature, intelligent, just an amazing kid. But unfortunately, he didn't get a mark that he thought was up to his standard in school, and he was crushed, and he was crying intensely. What'd you do?
Tell them. What did I do? I don't want to come up like
So Rashida goes in there and just cracks up and just laughed at him while he is crying like intensely. And people might shake their head at that and everything, but it was such a freeing, amazing moment for all of us.
Yeah.
Elias included.
Because he thought that as parents we would be also like dwelling on the fact that he didn't get the marks that he wanted, and would be disappointed. And that was also to show him, hey, lighten up. It's not a big deal. So what if you didn't get the mark that you got, A's in 5 other classes? Like, this is not the end of the world.
At the end of the day, you have parents that will laugh with you. You have a good life. You have a house, you have food, you have laughter. There's nothing more fulfilling than a house full of laughter.
Agreed.
Love and laughter are amazing. And that, you guide us back. I got to be honest. I have a tendency to get anxious. I have a tendency to feel the pressure. And when Rashida laughs at me and says, come on, dude, you came from a trailer, okay? And you're here. And you're working, on your master's degree.
Yeah. On this moment that
what is this and what is that intense? What have you? What can this bring that you haven't already been through?
What could it bring? Sadness, misery could never bring results. Never.
Laugh, dude.
Yes.
Laugh.
Yeah.
And she always reminds me, and we'll probably do some videos on this later on. Is like, when you operate out of fear, you don't live. And Rashida always reminds me, if I start to operate out of fear instead of, focusing on my future potential, you get off, you know?
Yeah, we always ask, is this, even when we are changing our minds of doing something, we always ask whether or not it's out of fear or out of facts.
Yes, fear or fact, exactly. So, and now here's our last one.
And
like I said,
before we wrap this up, the first thing that really attracted me, even as a friend when we first met, was his laughter. He would just laugh, even though he was going through hardship, issues, but he would just laugh, and then we would make fun of our, issues, and we had, both of us have, self-deprecating humor.
Yes.
We make fun of,
our flaws, our
hardship, our issues, and that always helps us to come up with solutions.
And it's made us so insecure. When we eventually got together, she's an amazing cook, and I put on 50 pounds, And she let me know, whoa, this isn't the guy I married.
Well,
You know, no.
your friends ask you who you ate first.
Yes, one of my friends,
Yeah.
thank you, Rooney, did ask me who I ate. So I expanded, you know, it's true.
Yeah, he ate a lot of goats. Yeah,
But
a lot of goats and chicken.
Yeah, exactly. But that we could laugh and that we grew together and that, you know, we had fun. That, you know, and that she felt open to laugh at me and to, you know, let me know that I could laugh at myself. We have to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to grow together. We have to, you know, when we realize most conflict comes out of the fear that this person's going to think I'm less than, so therefore I have to show them that they're less than, which then cycles down and is just damaging to everybody.
To who's going to win, but that's not a relationship. Nobody's going to be happy with that.
No, but laughter and love, there's nothing better, you know. And now we're going to go to the 5th tip that will shock you. Leave sacrifice alone. You always hear you need to sacrifice. No, sacrifice, you know the definition of sacrifice is to perform an act of slaughtering.
Killing.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do I need to kill a part of myself?
No.
To be in a good relationship?
To be happy? No.
Does this make any sense, people? Please. This is wrong.
Yeah, but that's what they have been telling us for the past 20, 30 years. You got to sacrifice to reach somewhere or to make your spouse or your partner happy. Sacrifice is where it's at. But
I mean, even if you go to the historical books,
yeah,
you know, God even told Abraham, don't sacrifice your son.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to bring this animal for you to do it.
Yeah.
Don't sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any part of your dreams, any part of who you are, any part of what you want to do, any part of anything that you value, do not sacrifice.
And if you're with a person who's demanding,
in order for you to be happy or to make your spouse happy. Yeah, go ahead. That's a good thing. Yeah,
in order for you to be happy, if you are with a person who is demanding that you sacrifice a part of yourself, you are not with the person who you should be. Not at all.
No.
Sacrifice is wrong.
Yeah.
Compromise is vital.
Yeah.
The difference is that's when you've learned and you've listened and you've laughed together and you've been sincere and you come together and you say, you know what, this is really something I can't get over.
Exactly. How can we have a resolution?
Yeah. How can we together have a resolution? And if I need to adjust, not surrender or kill, but if I need to adjust, slaughter, yikes. If I need to adjust, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I love this woman. Okay. She's brought me so much joy.
Yes,
I'm going to adjust.
Yeah.
Why would I demand that she sacrifice something?
Because if I sacrifice something huge, like I know some women especially who leave their jobs, employment or places of work that they really love and makes them happy because the husband and her come to the conclusion that would be for the best of the family. And I know some women who left their jobs 30 years ago, including my mother. 30 years later, she's not happy because she thought that she should sacrifice her employment to be present with the kids and raise them. Even till now, she talks about that good job that she let go because of us. You will never be happy. You have to see yourself first and foremost a human being with needs and desires. In order for you to be happy, your needs, most of your needs and desires, the important ones, the vital ones, have to be met. If your needs and desires, the vital ones, are not being met, how can you even give something to the relationship? How can you be happy? Misery does not produce happiness.
No.
And when you sacrifice something so huge, it's like it leaves a hole or a big void in your life that creates misery or what do you call incompleteness. You're missing something.
It creates misery for others. It creates resentment.
Yeah.
It creates pain.
Resentment, that's the word that yes, exactly.
Resentment.
When you're resentful, you can never make anybody happy.
No, and you can't make yourself happy. Do not sacrifice.
Yeah.
Compromise. And if someone demands that you sacrifice, you run as fast as you can.
Yeah, that person is not to make you happy. They don't really are thinking about, they're not paying attention to you. They're not listening to you. They're not getting to know what makes you happy. They're not operating from the interest of your happiness.
No.
They're after something else, whatever it may be.
No. So if that is the case, you run as fast as you can, because you need someone like I found. I'm so lucky, you know, who loves and listens and has learned and laughs with me.
Yeah, and wants the best for you.
Always.
Wants the best for
Always.
You. But I have learned, if I sacrifice a lot for this relationship, I won't be happy.
No.
And then how can I make him happy if I'm not happy? And I never want him to sacrifice something that he wants so much for me, because, you know, I love him too much for him to do that for me, because I want him happy. I don't want him to be looking back and say, oh, down if I had done that, or you know.
Why would you?
I want to aid him. I want to guide him to reach his happiness.
Yes, and together, no, together, then we build big things.
Yeah.
Okay, together, you compromise and reach goals together. Yeah. You don't surrender and kill parts of you.
Absolutely.
You keep intact that person you fell in love with.
Yeah.
And you come together and you find ways to maximize both your potentials. And it's possible.
Yeah, it's about lifting each other to reach where you want to reach, not to like stomp on your heads.
But digging in and you know, these things that historically, it's the way relationships have gone, and it's got to stop. Don't let it happen with you, because I'm telling you, my relationship is the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
You know,
same here.
It's
working for us. Whatever we're telling you is what is working for us.
It works. Yeah. It works for us. Therefore, if it's worked once, it works.
Yeah.
With that being said, I want you guys to be strong, be brave, be courageous. Oh, I am also going to put a link down below for the Laugh Your Way to Happiness book. Check that out. It's an awesome book. Also, please subscribe. Hit the little bell. Ding, ding. We appreciate you guys. Like, please make comments if you have any show you want to see, any questions for us. Like, please let us know. And thank you so much. Have an amazing night.
Thank you.